You know, in the world of AI, things move, well, they move incredibly fast. NVIDIA, one of the biggest names in the game, now has an entry-level certification for generative AI. But here's the real question. In a field that literally changes by the minute, is getting this cert really the right move for your career? Well, let's dive in and figure that out.
I mean, there's no denying it. Generative AI is transforming, well, pretty much every industry you can think of. And that's creating this huge demand for professionals who can actually prove they have the skills to keep up. A certification looks like the perfect answer, right? But is it really that simple?
So, here's our game plan. First, we'll look at the big picture, the opportunity. Then, we'll get specific about what this certification actually is. We're going to peek inside the exam, talk about the potential career payoff, get a much-needed dose of reality, and then finally, help you decide if it's the right call for you.
Okay, first things first, let's set the stage. Generative AI and large language models, LLMs, they're not just buzzwords anymore. They're becoming a foundational part of the tech world, creating brand new jobs and demanding new skills. Understanding this landscape is totally key to seeing where a credential like this actually fits in.
All right, so let's get right into it. What exactly is this NVIDIA Certified Associate for Generative AI? Or let's just call it the NCA-GENL.
The two most important words on this slide, entry-level and foundational. This certification is designed to prove you've got the basic skills for building AI apps, but, and this is a big but, specifically using NVIDIA's own ecosystem. So you can think of it as a starting line for people new to the field, or maybe a way to formalize the knowledge for those who are already dabbling in it.
And what about the nitty-gritty? Well, for about $150 and just 1 hour of your time, you'll face around 50 to 60 questions. It's done online, and it's proctored, which makes it super accessible. A passing score of around 70% tells you it's not designed to be some impossible barrier, but more of a structured first step. But, check this out, it's only valid for 2 years. That right there tells you just how fast this field is moving.
All right, this is the part I know you've been waiting for. What is actually on the exam? Because knowing the content is everything when you're trying to figure out if it lines up with your own skills and your career goals.
Now this is super interesting. Look at that balance. It's a 40-40 split. So 40% is all about the core concepts, natural language processing, LLMs, prompt engineering, fine-tuning, that kind of stuff. But an equal 40% is dedicated specifically to NVIDIA's own tools. The last 20%, that covers the fundamentals and the all-important ethical side of AI.
And believe me, when they say NVIDIA tools, they really mean it. This is not just about theory. You're absolutely expected to know about TensorRT for optimizing models, NeMo for building them, Triton for deploying them into the real world. This is probably the biggest clue that getting hands-on with the NVIDIA ecosystem isn't just a suggestion, it's a requirement.
Okay, so you put in the hours, you pass the exam, you get that shiny digital badge. Now what? How does this piece of paper or, digital file translate into actual career opportunities?
Well, the good news is that its application is pretty broad. We're not just talking about one single job title here. This certification can be a really valuable signal for data scientists, machine learning engineers, cloud architects, and even just general software engineers who are starting to weave AI into their work.
And of course, let's talk about the money. Now, salaries always depend on a ton of factors, but a certified generative AI engineer can potentially see an average salary around $130,000. That range can go anywhere from about $114K up to $176K. So yeah, this certification can absolutely give you a little extra leverage in those salary talks.
But look, a big salary isn't the whole story. If you want to be a real pro in this field, you have to understand the limitations, not just of a certification, but of the technology itself. So let's get real for a moment.
Part of what this certification tests is your awareness of these really tough professional challenges. Things like the fact that LLMs can hallucinate, just completely make things up, or the huge computational power they need, and all the risks around security and privacy. Knowing how to deal with these issues is just as important as knowing how to build a model.
And this brings us to what might be the single most important point. A certification? It's fantastic for validating your knowledge. It helps you get past those initial resume filters with recruiters. But for the actual hiring managers, nothing, and I mean nothing, beats a real-world hands-on experience. Think of this certification not as a replacement for a strong project portfolio, but as a really powerful complement to one.
So, we've covered the what, the why, and the what to watch out for. And that brings us to the final question, which, honestly, is one that only you can answer.
Here's a simple little path to help you decide. First, what are your goals? Are you trying to break into AI, or are you just trying to formalize skills you already have? Second, what's your experience level? Do you need a structured way to learn the fundamentals from the ground up? And third, be honest with yourself about the commitment. They recommend around 160 hours of study. Are you truly ready to put in that time?
At the end of the day, this quote really says it best. It can absolutely enhance your profile and get your resume noticed, but it is not a magic bullet. It's not some universal hack that's just going to guarantee you a job by itself. It's one tool in your career toolkit. It's not the entire toolbox.
So, I'll just leave you with this one question to think about for your own career. Is getting this certification the key that's going to unlock a new door for you? Or is it really just the very first foundational step on a much longer and, frankly, more exciting path? The answer to that question will tell you everything you need to know.